USAID or the US Agency for International Development is in the eye of a storm at present. The US President Donald Trump has freezed the operations of USAID for 3 months, while the supporters of Mr. Donald Trump say that the president and his team are reviewing the work of the USA. The opponents of President Donald Trump say that he is going to wind up the operations permanently. The USAID was formed in 1961 as a response to the Cold War and the influence of Soviet Union in different parts of the world. But that situation, geopolitics has changed. So this could be one of the reasons why President Trump is not interested in continuing the USAID. To summarize, the USAID has outlived its purpose. So that could be one reason. Now, is that the only reason why the President Donald Trump decided to wind up or at least freeze the activities of the USAID for a few months? Absolutely not. There are other reasons also. What are the reasons? We will look into all those aspects. Is the US going to permanently shut down this institution? In that case, what about the activities carried out by this organization? Or are there any other political issues involved in the winding up or in freezing the operations of the USA? There are people who believe that anti-Republican forces or anti-Trump forces have infiltrated into the USAID, and they have sabotaged it, and they are utilizing the funds for other activities. Is that true? We need to look into all these aspects in a transparent and honest way. Let's get to the bottom of the whole issue. Welcome to Insights. I am Hari Kumar. You know, the USAID was formed in 1961 at the height of Cold War. That made immense sense during that period. The influence of Soviet Union was increasing throughout the world. There were many programs being initiated by, the Soviet Union to gain influence in other parts of the Asia, Americas, Africa, etc. And the Soviet Union gained a lot of influence. Now, it was essential for the United States to checkmate the influence of the Soviet Union. So, John F. Kennedy formed an organization. The main areas of the activity of the USAID include parts of Europe, Eastern Europe, then Sub-Saharan Africa, then parts of Asia, etc. For example, countries like Afghanistan in Asia and then Ukraine in Europe are among the main recipients of USAID. The USAID program started with providing food assistance. In 1960s there was shortage of food in different parts of the world, even including India. There was shortage of food. So famines were reported from different parts of the world. At that point of time, USAID worked to a great success, and it actually increased the influence of the United States. But definitely that situation has changed. By Trump, the school of thought followed by Trump is that by spending money in areas like Sub-Saharan Africa, Afghanistan, or Ukraine, the US is not going to get anything in return, or money spent in those areas will not further the strategic interests of the US. A new world order has developed. For example, India is one of the most influential nations at present. China has already become one of the most influential nations. Countries like Brazil and South Africa are growing. In the backdrop, it doesn't make any sense to focus the US attention on areas in Africa or Europe. So this is the Trump being a businessman and with an acute sense of profit has realized this. Even supporters of the United States won't believe that US will be interested in generously donating to the world. US is a country that believes in the dictum that there is no free lunch. So this is, the changed geopolitical realities is another major aspect. Now let's look into another factor. That is the financial or economic situation of the United States. Many people won't believe that US is actually is in a debt crisis. US economy survives just because of the power of dollar, or dollar is being used by almost all countries on the globe as a, the currency of their choice. So the moment that changes, US economy will collapse like a pack of cards. So this reality actually Trump knows very well. If you look at the debt of US, the US has got a debt of more than 36 trillion US dollars. This is a huge amount, much more than the GDP of the US. Then when it comes to external debt, the US has got the largest external debt in the world. Now you realize the gravity of the situation. But at the same time, the annual budget of the USAID is not even 1% of the GDP of the US. But Trump is an acute businessman who believes that every penny saved will strengthen the US economy. So he wants to cut all control the expenditure. So he doesn't want to squander money on the third world. This is simply that. So that is another reason. Then, there is another aspect also. That is, as I said earlier, certain groups within the United States, especially the left or what you call the deep state, they have infiltrated in the USAID program, and there is a complaint, or there are reports that many groups have usurped the USAID program, and even the Republican interests were harmed during elections by those groups. So President Donald Trump has realized that by allowing the USAID to continue, it's not just squandering money, it involves harming the strategic interests of the Republican Party itself, or the group that is now in control, or now holds power in the United States. So this is I think again this is one of the most important aspects. So he wants to to gauge the depth of the infiltration. He wants to assess the activities being done by those groups. I am sure that he is going to release many vital data in the coming days that reflects the activities of different groups in the US. This USAID has been contributing to many areas. Those areas include healthcare, then defense, then they, in the guise of, or on the pretext of strengthening democracy in many countries, they have been spending money. And then even in issues like gender related issues, for example, like helping transgenders, and even for such activities they have been spending a lot of money. And Trump has realized that this USAID was actually being controlled by people who are inimical to the interests of the ruling class of the United States, and they have got their own agenda. And like being woke, being intersectional, and promoting these type of thoughts across the world. So there are certain groups in the United States who are trying to create mayhem around the world and within the United States. So Trump has realized that US has got enemies not just outside the United States, but enemies are within also. So I think he has he has started an all out war, and probably this could be another reason for freezing the activities of the USAID. Anyway, as I said, many details of many details of those activities being carried out by USAID will come out or will be publicized in the coming days, and it is going to be tough for and that group. I think Trump wants to finish them. Now, there is another question. Will the US, who will further the interests of United States if Trump stops or winds up USAID permanently? I think Trump has realized that geopolitics has undergone a disruptive change. So I think instead of providing aid, amounts, financial assistance, he's going to embark on joint partnerships with other countries. As I said, perhaps he is trying to create a new world order, and he may strike alliances with Putin in Russia, then Xi in China, Prime Minister Narendra Modi in India, or Saudi Arabia or UAE. And I think signs are now pretty evident. And then Trump is going to create a new world order. I think this is the beginning. Meet you with updates in the coming days. Till then, goodbye.